So I came out of my home, and halfway it started raining. So I reached the office completely drenched, and I had no choice but to enter the studio with a drenched clothes. So the moment I finished my news reading and stood up, I found my the whole area completely wet, as if flooded. So that really was a memorable day that I had.
Jonas Yanthan, a dedicated public servant, retired as a newsreader English from All India Radio Kohima in 2024. His illustrious career spans teaching at Baptist High School Kohima, serving as headmaster at Mount Sinai 1990 to 93, and Meherletsa English School 1994 to 2008. Presently, he is also the president of the Catholic Association of Nagaland, CAN. He has also held key roles, including vice chairman of Kohima Lotha Hoho 2013 to 20, and currently serves as treasurer. Additionally, he contributes to the Red Cross Nagaland branch as a member of the managing committee and serves on the advisory committee of Nagaland Electricity Regulatory Commission. A man of letters, he's authored Corruption of Christianity and A Walk to Emmaus, with numerous articles on social issues to his credit.
Greetings and a warm welcome to our prominent senior citizens of Nagaland, brought to you by Didi Nagaland. Our program focuses on individuals who are regarded for their seniority, experience, and contributions in their respective fields, and not just in terms of age. In this episode, we are featuring Mr. Jonas Yanthan, a community leader, a respected public figure in Nagaland's media and literary circles. Mr. Yanthan, thank you for joining our program and also welcoming us to your place.
Yeah, you're welcome.
To begin, as a veteran news reader at All India Radio Kohima, what were some of your most memorable moments during your broadcasting career?
As far as I can remember, you know, entering the job of a news presenter, the whole effort personally was to be as clear as possible while reading the news, especially the people should understand the news item that we were putting out. During this service of mine, um, I do not have those memorable type of events as such, but as a dedicated government servant, my whole service as a newsreader was to do my best.
Mr. Yanthan, you are praised for your elegant delivery as a news presenter. What were your approach to mastering English pronunciation and diction during your time at AIR Kohima?
You know, actually, I was fortunate to get the training in how to speak English, especially a course um, called phonetics, which many actually are not aware, and at the same time, they do not have that kind of opportunity. You know, actually, talking about myself, I was intending to become a priest. And as part of my seminary training, we were given the best of education and best of training, especially as to how to speak in public. And for that, we need to be really vocal. We need to have good accent. And for this, we were given the opportunity of going through phonetic classes, phonetic courses, and in fact, as young as class 7 student. The moment I reached Dibrugarh, in the dormitory, the sound boxes were fitted, and then while going to bed, they would put on this classic plays like Samson and Delilah and all these classic movies.
On the radio?
Not on the radio, but they had a kind of music player, and those were used. And the brother in charge would monitor the play, and then we would listen to the plays and then sleep. You know why? Because language is nothing but phone. Language is phonetics. Like the moment a child is born, and as he or she grows up, the mother tries her level best to help her child to pronounce amma, mummy, daddy. So this is instilled in the mind of the child, and ultimately the child learns how to call his mother, his father, his brothers, sisters. So that is why phonetics is nothing but listening. And this listening was given utmost importance for us to be able to speak English as clearly as possible. And the English that we were taught is not just any English, but actually we were taught British English.
Mr. Yanthan, on the day of your retirement, you face a personal loss with your mother's passing away at your native home in Wokha. Yet you attended your farewell program in your office in Kohima. What gave you the strength to carry on, and what those moments mean to you?
Yes, it was really tragic. On the day that I was to retire, the program was already set, and by 3 o'clock early in the morning, I got a call that my mother has already left us. And so what came to mind was, now my duty is first. So only after my duty is over, then only I'll go home. Why I got a courage to think in that manner was, my dad and my mother, we were very close to each other, and then I have also done my best in looking after them.
Right.
I gave them my best, and so in the process, my parents even told me, in case we die all of a sudden, you should not worry about us, because all along you have looked after us so much that now we don't need any other thing. So whatever you have to do those things first, then only follow the rest. So that was in my mind, and I was confident that even if I'm not present at the funeral of my mother, she will not mind. So that is why I completed my program in the radio, and then only I entrusted my brother to take care of everything. I told him that whatever is needed, do everything, make those people who come to visit, make them happy, feed them well, and I'll be reaching you only in the evening. So accordingly, I finished my program and then reached home when everything was over at 7 p.m.
Right. What a beautiful commitment. Moving on, your writing journey. How did it all begin, and and how it motivated you to become an author of books like Corruption of Christianity and A Walk to Emmaus?
You know, actually, writing is an art. I really wanted to write something, but I could not write. So what I did, I scribbled and scribbled hundreds and hundreds of papers, scribbled, and then only after a lot of trials that I was able to write. And because I found that writing is one of the most um, the most correct way of presenting to the people, reaching out to more people. Because by conversation we may not be able to reach out to many. But if you and I could write what you think, what you see, you observe in the society, and what you think it is good that as many people know what you think. So the only way to reach out to many people for those things is to be able to write. So that's how I started practicing how to write. And then how I came across about compiling the book into my articles into a book is actually it began with a very silly question. And the question was somewhere in 94, as I was walking down to Baramedical, an elderly man asked me my name. And on hearing my name, he said, "Your name is foreign. So, are you a Christian or a Catholic?" So I was quite stunned, but nevertheless I said, "Uncle, uh, I am not a Christian, but I am a Catholic. That is why I have a foreign name."
Right.
And that really trickled my mind. And the question that came to my mind was that, which means to say that there are many people who do not know the history of Christianity. And yet, Nagaland is considered as a Christian dominated state. And yet, I realized that many people do not know the history of Christianity. So that's what triggered me. And then I started reading the history of Christianity and concised it into a newspaper format. The volumes and volumes of history book. I concised them and then came out in a newspaper titled Truth Hurts. And why I gave the title Truth Hurts is because truth is quite painful. So I know that many people may not like when they come across the history of Christianity. So because every church claims that their church is the true church. And so, but whatever we claim, it is only history that will clarify all these doubts. And so, on seeing the history of Christianity, I know that there will be people who will be hurt. So that is why I captioned the article Truth Hurts. And then following this, I also wrote some other articles and in relation to this topic. So finally, I came out with a small booklet called Corruption of Christianity. It is not that Christianity is corrupted, is a corrupt religion, but that we, because of our misunderstanding, has corrupted the teachings of Christianity itself. And then coming to my second book, why Christianity or any, for that matter, any religion, why religions are misunderstood is because people do not have the proper means of putting across the correct message of the religion itself. And for that, we need a science. And that science is called hermeneutics. So in hermeneutics is a science developed to help us interpret scriptures. For that matter, any scripture. And so um, the, the book titled A Walkway Mouse is precisely talking about hermeneutics to help people to interpret the scriptures properly and authentically.
Any books coming up?
Not very soon, but I'm thinking of compiling some of my articles on the Naga society.
Oh, okay.
That it's on my mind.
Moving on, sir, you have assumed office as president of Catholic Association of Nagaland. What inspired you to take on this new role?
In fact, I have been um, given a green signal to be in other social activities,
Okay.
like our Lota Hoho and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But I chose the presidentship of the Catholic Association of Nagaland precisely because, you know, a society to be straightened is by bringing about the correct understanding of our religion itself. So I strongly believe that being the president of CAN, I think I'll be able to do better job and then concentrate more on this, because why Jesus did not assume the kingship of the earth? He could have, but he did not. He understood, Jesus understood that the best way is to give the correct understanding of life itself. So that is why he took up a mission which is completely different from what people expected him to take up. By being only the taking up only the spiritual side of it, because ultimately human beings live according to what they believe, and so our belief system should be correct in order to have correct living standards. So I think as CAN president, my greatest aim and effort will be to help people to understand our religion properly and live accordingly.
What message do you have for the youth of Nagaland, given your experience in media and community service?
As for the youth of our state, I think, first of all, on the religious understanding, the youth must be critical of what they believe. It is not enough to be what we believe, but the youth must become critical and take a further step of why I believe, why we believe. And in the process, because I know that if they take this step, they'll become more intelligent. And we need a lot of intelligent people in our society. Intelligence is a requirement for speedy progress of our society, of our state, and that is why I would insist on the youth to take up this venture of questioning themselves as to why I do this way, why I believe this, to make them aggressive intellectually and spiritually. And on the social front, there is no shortcut to success. All of us need to work hard. And the Bible begins with, in the Genesis, God says, by the sweat of your brow you shall eat your food. So now there is no other way except by working hard. If you want to have a good future, there is no other way. You have to begin today. So I would insist on the youth to really think hard, work hard, and then be disciplined in their life.
A very important message indeed. What is next for you? Any projects or initiatives you are excited about?
You know, I intend to have more interactions with the youth. Being a student of philosophy and concerned about the society, my main sacrifice will be on reaching out to the youth as much as possible, interact with them, have discussions, because we need a lot of discussions. You know, very unfortunately, due to the incoming of the mobile, now where every youth is only concentrating on their mobile, there is no interaction. We need interaction. The reason is what you are capable of, I am not. what the other person is able to understand, both of us may not be able to understand. That is why we need each other. We need to interact, we need to discuss, we need to share so that we'll become more human. And in the process, we'll also progress. Progress is within us. It is nobody can bring progress to you. Meaning to say, nobody can make you rich except yourself. And nobody can make you poor except yourself. This is the truth of life. That is why I would insist on the youth to understand these facts of human reality and live accordingly, challenging themselves as much as possible if they really want to progress in life.
Right. Mr. Yanthan, thank you so much for sharing your inspiring story with us. Your dedication to service and passion for storytelling is commendable. We wish you all the very best in your future endeavors.
I thank you very much.
And thank you for tuning into DD Nagaland. Until next time.